All right, welcome back. And our first video was about annotated bibliographies. Our second video was about planning your research paper. And now we're finally getting to the point where we're ready to start drafting our paper. So as you can see, this is the outline that I created before. You may notice that I started changing some colors here, and I'll talk about that in a second. So the topic I was using as my example was technology in the classroom. And it doesn't matter what your topic is, you can choose whatever you want. You should have your own topic already picked out and organized, but this is just the example I'm using. So please note that these are just kind of made up examples. I am not advocating that you change your topic or go choose this or use these names because half of them are made up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so we have our outline here, and our outline has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, as all papers have. So you'll see that there are several colors. I decided to color code it because when planning, I think it helps me to organize things into categories. And for me, if I'm a visual person, the colors help me make sure that as I start writing, I'm hitting all the topics that I said I was going to hit. All my points are color coded so I can start coding my evidence to match and making sure that I've covered everything I said I was going to cover. So my topic and my thesis I've labeled with green. So you'll see that's in the beginning, in the introduction, and it'll be over here again in the end, in the conclusion. But I also have three main points that I found in my research. I decided that I was going to categorize them as best practices, most effective tools, and then cautions. All of these relate to technology in the classroom. And you saw that last time I used a web to demonstrate how you can organize your thoughts into categories based on everything you've read. So once I've done that, I decided I'm going to put it into an outline now. I did that, and now I'm color-coded it. So I decided best practices would be blue, and yellow would be for most effective tools, and then I decided pink would go for other cautions. So these are arbitrary colors. Again, you can use whatever you want. And so what I did here was organize these and start kind of fleshing out who is going to be my expert for each of these topics, each of these things. And as I read, I might find that, oh, you know what? This author that I thought was mainly just for tools also has some cautions. So I'm going to show you how to take your sources and then start adding them into your outline. What I like to do is take my outline and decide who goes where, which expert is going to fit into what category, what topic. What point within my topic that is. And so then I'm going to go start placing them in and start putting my quotes. And over time, my outline here will actually become my paper. And very slowly, the outline will disappear and my paper will take over. And it'll just be paper. And then when I have that and I feel like now it's finally a rough draft, I will take out all these highlighting and get rid of the colors. So I have an example of an article here. And so technology in the classroom, this is by Morgan, and you can see I had Morgan listed here. And so as tools, because this seems like obviously this one is about tools using handheld wireless technologies. And so you might have noticed that I highlighted that. And I'm going to show you this little tool up here. If you've never used this on PDF, most of them allow you to do this. You click this little highlight button, and when it's lit up, you can then also select the color, and then you can start highlighting things to match. And I like to use this because it helps me organize the things I'm reading and figure out where I'm going to put them in my paper. Is it going to go into best practices with blue? Is it going to go into most effective tools with yellow, or cautions with pink? So as I was reading, I started finding things that I thought matched those points, and I highlighted them. So you can see tools was yellow, so I found here a nice little quote that I might want to use. Mobile wireless devices perform similar tasks to desktop computers, such as providing access to internet, storing information, sending email, and playing videos. So if I feel like this is a great sentence that I would probably want to use, I highlighted it yellow. Now that I'm ready to start recording my evidence into my outline, I'll probably go ahead and copy and paste or type it up into the outline with a citation, just like I would in my paper, because remember, the way I like to write, and you don't have to do it this way, but I think it's easier, rather than having 2 or 3 documents, I just have one. my outline, and then eventually, like I said, it becomes my paper. And so I started going through this and highlighting things that I thought matched. You'll notice now I have some pink and blue because as I read through this article, I found, wow, okay, there's actually some practices here using these tools as multimedia, connectivity, and it's how teachers can use them. That belongs in the best practices. And then the more I read, I saw this heading right here that says disadvantages of using handheld technologies, distractions, bad habits, and cyber offenses. So obviously that is going to contribute to this part. So it turns out that this Morgan person is actually going to end up in several parts of my paper. This person is really an expert on several aspects of my topic. So that's fine. I'm going to start using Morgan in all of these. All right, so I'm going to go remind myself here that I am adding these people, this person, to these sections. All right, so I've reminded myself that that's going to go there. And now I found some quotes I wanted, so let's go back up to this first one. We'll talk about how to actually start using it. So if it's already lit up, I'm gonna unclick it so that I can actually see if my copy and paste works. Sometimes in a PDF it does, sometimes it doesn't. Let's try it. So I know this is gonna go with yellow because I've already decided that this is part of a tool. So I'm gonna put it here. Notice in my yellow section, point 2 in my body, I have strategy, solution, or idea that relates to your topic, and the point was most effective tools. Underneath that, I have evidence from research with a quote or paraphrase and citation. I'm going to go ahead and just plop that in there right now. Well, it kind of worked. So it made a mess of my outline, but that's fixable. So I have all these little extra weird things. I'll take them out, right? The nice part is that I don't have to go and retype this. It's already there. Let's see. Okay, so now I've kind of got it separated here. This is my evidence to support this point, effective tools, and I'm going to go ahead and take out these odd things that came up because you can see this was in columns, so there's these little dashes and it copies and pastes it exactly how it looks here. That's the problem with PDFs, but that's okay. I can fix that. It's easier than retyping it. So I'm going to take out these weird dashes and spaces that don't need to be there. I'm going to leave that one because I think email is supposed to have one. Yeah. Okay, now this is a quote. It's a direct quote. Now I can choose to later on go back and rephrase it, paraphrase it if I want. But for right now, it's a direct quote. So that means I need a page number and citation. So this is page 139, and this is by Morgan. Let's see, do I have a year? I think I do, 2012. So an in-text citation always has the last name of the person, the year, and page number that the quote came from. This is so that anybody going back to read your essay later can find this evidence. So it's on page 139. Notice that the page number is not what you expected. When you download this PDF, you think that's the first page of the article, should be page 1, but it's not, because this is a digital format of something that's much larger, and they gave you one piece of it. So it's actually page 139, so I'm going to put that here. And now I've got my quote already with my citation, and I'm ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep going through this process. I'm going to go through all my articles, and I'm going to find my evidence, and I'm going to copy and paste the quote, add the citation, or maybe if it's something that I don't really like the way it sounds, I'll paraphrase it, and I'll still add the citation. And then once I feel like every section in my body here has some kind of evidence, then I'm ready to finish writing it, and I can add more to it. I can start adding my topic sentences and my commentary. So a commentary is when I take my evidence and I comment on it. I talk about why that is important. So if you look at my quote here, it says mobile wireless devices perform similar tasks to desktop computers, such as providing access to internet, storing information, sending email, and playing videos. So I'm going to add something, and I might clean it up and make it sound fancy later, but I'm just going to put a simple commentary. This is important because, very straightforward, because it allows more access for more children. Okay, I'm probably going to change that later, but I got my idea of what I want to say. I want to talk about how these devices might allow more access for more kids, okay? So you see the process we started here. I found my point. I went to my text. I started highlighting or labeling. Now you can do this the old-fashioned way with printing it out and using an old highlighter and just mark it up. I like doing that personally, but I know you all are digital natives, so I'm showing you a digital way of doing it. Once I've found my evidence that I really like, I'm going to just plop it right into my outline, and I'm going to put my citation, and then I'm going to start commenting on it. And over time, what will happen is these kind of things will disappear, and only my writing will be left with the citations. Okay? So, now that you've seen that, and I realize, okay, over time this is going to become my paper. So, in fact, before I get too carried away here, I'm going to actually put my citations in here so that I don't forget. The worst thing we can do is get all this written and then leave out somebody and we forgot where it came from. We just have a name and we don't have anything else. So if you have your annotated bibliography done, which hopefully you do, you should have these citations, right? So you're going to go and just put them in there. Oops, I still got my highlight on. Turn that off. And I'm just going to go ahead and just start my references page now and just put them in there, okay? And on my real references page, I'm not going to have it numbered, so I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to watch for any kind of problems with my citations and see if I messed up on anything, okay, as I go. And actually, I see one right here I'll have to fix. So I put that in there. So I see a couple problems already that I have to fix. First of all, Baker will have to come before Clark. That's not necessarily true in my annotated bibliography, but here in my references it has to be alphabetical. So I'm going to move that person or that group of people and put them first. I also see that somehow in that citation machine I used, or maybe I copied and pasted it from the library database, it made this a lowercase, and someone's name should always have uppercase initials. Okay, so when I see these weird little problems, I have to go through and fix them. And then in order to make this an APA reference sheet, obviously, I need to fix my crazy little indent problem, which is strange, but we have to have the second line and below indented in APA references. So I know this seems like we're jumping ahead, but in reality, this is going to save me a lot of time. So as I write, if I found another source like this one that wasn't on my list, I'm going to go make that citation and just add it in there now. I'm going to always do my citations as I go. Okay, so this is the first step in drafting your paper. Take your outline, go back over what we already talked about, take your sources, drop them into your outline, start writing about it, and eventually this will become your paper. And I will post another video about how to revise some of your writing in a little bit. Thank you for watching and good luck.